Good day and thank you for joining CivilNet. Our guest today at the studios is Daniel Decker, composer, musician, and you might know his work very well from the Noah's Prayer, Adana, and My Offering, and also Armenian by Choice. Thank you for being here, Mr. Decker, today.
Thank you.
And what brings you to Armenia this time?
Several reasons. First and foremost, I wanted to support Armenia during a very stressful time for Armenians with the conflict in Karabakh and the threat there. I wanted to offer some moral support, that there are other people who are there to stand with Armenia, to not be afraid. They're not alone out there. Secondly, I have a new song that I'm working on with Ara Gevorgyan. It should be released very soon. And it also, while not directly related to Karabakh, I think is something that will inspire national pride and Armenianness. It's about the river Arax, which of course spans the border between Armenia and Turkey. And you know, historically Armenia held both sides of the river. Now there's only one side that Armenia currently controls. And it's kind of a dream and a wish for every Armenian to be able to walk on both sides of the river. So in that sense, I think it's appropriate for the tense times that we're in. Thirdly, I'm in the process of organizing a concert here for the fall in Yerevan, an all Armenian language concert. I won't be singing in English, with the Armenian National Folk Orchestra.
And to come here at a time where a lot of people are avoiding coming to Armenia, thinking there's conflict, and what does it mean for you to be here and hearing about what's going on in Karabakh from outside, and coming here and seeing the situation firsthand?
Well, as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to come. Because in a certain sense, I felt like Armenians have had so many challenges over the years, and it seems like they already have 20 things to be stressed about and worried about, and now you're adding this, piling this thing on top of them, even more worry. And I wanted to come here and just show support for Armenia. And now I'm an Armenian citizen. I became a citizen last year, so it affects me personally as well, too.
And this Armenian by choice, I mean, we keep hearing, pleasantly keep hearing this more and more. So I actually wanted to talk more about it. How does one decide to become Armenian? What's the drive behind it, making that choice?
Well, speaking for myself, I can tell you that first, when I was introduced to Ara Gevorgyan's music and I heard these just beautiful melodies, I was intrigued by this place halfway around the world that I knew very little about. And through my exploration of that music, I found this respect for Armenia and its incredibly vast culture and history. And as I delved more deeply into that, it turned into a love for the Armenian people. And I call myself an Armenian by choice because Armenians who are born here or in the diaspora, they were born Armenian. They don't have a choice. They are Armenian, that's it. I was not born Armenian, but I choose to associate myself with Armenians and to stand with the Armenian people. And
how did this association come about? Culturally, in your case, I suppose, and well, in your case, it's cultural and through music, and yes. I suppose, and for many other people who are just doing philanthropic work here, or they're just IT people, businessmen, do you think there's something common in choosing to be Armenian?
I don't know. I can only say from my own experience that it's something that gripped me very strongly. The spirit of the Armenian people. I've often used this phrase that if you measure Armenia by the size of its borders of the land that it controls currently, you could say that it's a small nation. But if you measure Armenia by the size of the Armenian heart, then it's a mighty empire. There's something about the Armenian spirit that, I guess, in the midst of all that Armenians have endured over the centuries, yet they endure and their culture thrives and prospers. And I think that's really amazing.
And you said you'll be singing in Armenian. Learning Armenian, does that come easy? Because I'm told usually not.
Well, the first time I tried it, many Armenians told me, it's impossible. You can't do it. You're not Armenian, you can't pronounce the words as an American, and you can't feel what we feel as Armenians. So I spent a very long time trying to master the task of singing in Armenian, not only how to speak, but how to feel what is happening in the words. And the CD, Armenian by Choice, is the result of that journey. Armenians have embraced it. I can't say that my Armenian is perfect, but some say that I have very little accent, so I guess that's a victory in and of itself.
But I find it strange because a lot of Armenian musicians are trying to sing in English to have a wider audience, right. And especially taking into consideration the diaspora that would also... so to decide to sing in Armenian, there's something more to it?
Part of it was my own musical journey, but also part of it was really a reaction against Armenians gravitating towards Western culture and music and Hollywood and its influence, in that there's such a rich history here, to not abandon that, to value that. And I wanted to, on the one hand, show Armenians that this is an incredible gift that you have, this rich culture, history, and music. Hold on to it dearly. But also to people who are not Armenian, say, look at this, listen to this. Isn't this really amazing? People who are Armenian and growing up in Armenian cultures, this is very normal to them. But Armenian culture, Armenian history, even the genocide issue, is something that's virtually unknown outside of the Armenian community. And this was kind of a way of like opening the window and saying, take a look. This is very interesting. And I think my first feeling came when I was studying about the genocide, and I thought, how is it possible that I didn't know about the genocide? And if I don't know about it, there must be a lot of other people that don't know about it. And I think the same applies to Armenian culture and music.
And well, your collaboration with Ara Gevorgyan is well known. Any other composers Armenian composers you listen to, you appreciate, contemporary or not so?
So many. From classical composers to Khachaturian, Spendarian, to more contemporary singers, Shushan Petrosyan, Leila Sarbekian, Andrei Simonian from the Beautified Project. So I like the whole range of music. You know, my taste varies from the time of day and the mood that I'm in. So I value anything that's good and creative. So my musical tastes run a wide spectrum.
And coming back to your most recent collaboration with Ara Gevorgyan, you spoke about the river Arax and the whole concept. How did this one come about?
Well, many years ago I visited the river Arax. And it was very, it touched me very deeply. You know, first of all, in order to get to the river Arax, as someone who's not Armenian, you have to go through multiple border checkpoints just to be able to get to that point. And when you finally get to the border and you see those guard towers on the other side, you know, with men with guns waiting to shoot anybody who tries to cross, that's very sobering. And then when I recorded the Armenian by Choice CD, and I recorded the song about the river Arax, you know, this song, the symbolism of that river really made an impression on me. And last year when I was here, I had heard another piece of music that Ara had written, and he was calling it Arax, and in honor of the river. And as I was listening to the melody, I thought, wow, this river really has such symbolic importance that I think that it would be a great pretext for writing not only about the river, but about how significant that river is to the Armenian people and what it means, the fact that now Armenians can only walk on one side of the river. There's a symbolic importance to that. And if I can tell the story in a way that gives hope that one day Armenians will walk on that other side, I think that's a very powerful statement.
I mean, songwriting usually puzzles me because it's not a talent I have. And to say all this with a melody and within few words, how does that process? Because like I understand you do a lot of research, historical research, you just cover the whole background, and then you're limited to a couple of lines.
It's hard. For me, as a composer, ironically, I'm stronger by writing melodies than I am by writing lyrics. But it just so happens that Ara Gevorgyan is a great composer of melodies, so I adopted the lyrical role. But for me, writing lyrics is like going to the dentist and getting your tooth pulled. It's a very painful process, but in the end, it's something that's necessary. And I struggle, I wrestle with my lyrics. They don't come easily. But I finally get to a point where I feel satisfied that it tells whatever story I want to tell in a way that's different, that's not trite or simple, but offers something new that maybe hasn't been heard in the way that the same story has been told before. Does that make sense?
Well, and in your creative process, are you at a point where you create in Armenian or not yet?
Not by language, but maybe by concept. Like I said, about the river Arax, I understand the significance, or Adana about the genocide, or the one song we didn't mention, which is called Remember, which is the second song we wrote together about the genocide, released last year. All of those come from an Armenian pretext, a subtext. And so I think I've become immersed in Armenian life enough that I'm starting to look at issues from an Armenian perspective, I guess you could say.
And looking from an Armenian perspective, and I'm referring to genocide denial, and specifically in America, what do you think can be still done? I mean, I know you're doing everything as far as like spreading the word goes, and what should be done, because like we had another disappointment this year. We were expecting recognition and we didn't receive it as an American and the society in America.
Right. It's really quite a battle, isn't it? It's a struggle, but I think that first of all, Armenians on this issue especially need to stand united and not allow divisions to weaken the voice. I think they need to be strong and resolute, not back down against the overwhelmingly strong Turkish lobby that tries to silence the truth. The huge advantage that we have is the truth is on our side, and the truth eventually gets out. So they can deny all that they want, but the truth is there. And there will come a point in time when the truth will be so undeniable that they have to own up to it. And you have to keep holding the feet to the fire, as they say, until people relent and finally acknowledge that it happened. And I know it's a struggle. It's been 101 years now, but we can't give up because we are on the side of right, and we will finally see that day come if we don't give up.
And is something brewing about Qarabağ, given the reason for your visit and the recent developments?
You mean brewing in my creatively? Yes, because I had a very visceral reaction, to the conflict in Qarabağ, even though it was brief in the sense of the fighting didn't go on for very long. Immediately, I thought, this is an attack on Armenian culture and Armenian life, and this is Armenian land. In fact, I released a statement as soon as it happened, saying to many of my friends, I broadcasted online, saying that really to clarify what was happening in Qarabağ, because a lot of people don't understand, who are not Armenian, what is really happening. The press sometimes tried to spin it as Azerbaijan trying to reclaim their territory. Well, that's not really true, as we know, because this is historic Armenian territory for centuries, and it was only Stalin who handed it over on a silver platter to Azerbaijan to weaken ethnic strongholds and to weaken the Armenian presence there, that actually happened. But the fact is, it's Armenian territory, and it's historically populated by Armenians, and it is all Armenian now. So It's Armenian territory, and Armenians have every right to defend it and hold on to that territory.
Right. Thank you very much. It was very interesting speaking to you, and I hope the viewers found the conversation interesting as well.